Big perm. You better correct yourself. Hail Garstag, Lord of the Frozen North. Hi, low. Hi, low. Hello. What's the idea? What's up, brudda? How's it going, Bjorn? It's going. It's a going. The Uber glass. Yeah, well, I am Garstag, the frozen one, you know. Garstag Icebeard. I should drink my water out of a righteously large cup. It's a me, Mario. Bum 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 bum. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 dun 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 dun. Isn't that the music from stage 1 of Mario 2? Bum bum ba-dum. Bum Yep. Bum 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 bum. Dude, that shit was so good. I'm debating if I should become a patron. What's all the perks of the $5 one? Okay. So other $5 perks, here's what goes down for $5 a month. So you know how you get an episode every Monday, right? Well, congratulations. Now you get an episode every Friday. We do an patrons exclusive episode every Friday that only goes out to the patrons. So you double up your deep fat fried shows if that's what you like. If you like flash fried, you get the other half of that. So we do an hour for the non-patrons, and then we move it to a private stream for the patrons, and we do another hour plus for the patrons. And then you get an Abandoned Hope every month from TJ, and you get a patrons-only Highdeology from me. All for the $5.
Did you mention the commentary?
Oh yeah, the movie commentary. Also every month we do a movie commentary. Congrats on hitting 6K patrons. Why? Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about how every month we lose patrons?
Yeah, we were at
Right.
over 6, and then
Right.
that happens to literally every patron.
No,
I looked at
I know.
the Graphions, just everyone's got payment issues.
Yep. At the our Patreon always drops at the end of the month, but
like every other Patreon in existence.
yeah, and then over the course of the month, it builds its way back up. But we broke 6,000 patrons a while back, and
in October.
we've crested it. But I'll be honest with you guys, the growth on our Patreon, it may have reached the ultimate level that we can within our own fan base. So we need to find ways to bring new neckbeards into the fold. So that's the focus of our behind the scenes stuff. Advertising, I mean, maybe, but not as a huge part of our strategy. It'll be part of it. Still got the sus cigarettes. The susarettes.
Yeah, Blue Noble's on point tonight. He's geared up. You saw what the chat's been lately, and he's holstered.
Yeah, Chad has been pretty crazy lately. You draw that? No.
That's the brand.
This is my brand. I smoke susarettes. No, these are cigarette-like pre-rolls that you can get.
You can probably show them the box.
No, probably. I could, but I'm not gonna. What city would you say has the most neckbeards? I have no fucking clue, bro. I know that they're everywhere. I know that we are everywhere. We exist everywhere. Every corner of this great nation, Canada and Mexico. I met a straight out Mexican neckbeard at the which one?
Mexico?
Yeah, the New Mexico meetup. Where did we do that at? What city?
Albuquerque?
Albuquerque. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why you know better than I do.
I mean, I wasn't even really.
I know.
That at that time, so I don't know.
I don't know. You've just heard me talk about it enough. Yeah, dude. I met a Mexican neckbeard at Albuquerque that said he stole a car. He said, I stole a car, kind of, to come see you guys today in a very thick accent. And I was like, whatever, bro. You did not. He was like, no, I kind of did. He was like, but I wasn't going to miss the opportunity. This might be the closest you guys ever come. No, he was not a New Mexican. He was a straight up Mexican.
Just snuck across the border.
He didn't sneak. I mean, he probably legally traveled across the border. He had his papers or whatever. In a stolen car. Yeah.
It's not legal.
Well, that's not, but he did it. He said, it's my friend's car, and I asked him if I could borrow it for the day or whatever, and I didn't tell him I was bringing it here. So it's not actually stolen, but he would not have let me bring it to the United States, but whatever, I did it. And I was like, you're a badass, dude. I think I still have that guy's card, maybe.
Yeah.
He gave me his card, and he was like a Mexican web designer. That's what he did for a living. I sat and smoked a fatty with him. He was a cool guy. But I know that the Mexican neckbeards are out there.
Dude, we need to branch into captioning. Although community captions don't exist anymore, it's shitty.
Or maybe one of us should learn to speak, or all of us learn to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And start doing one show in Espanol for our, Mexican, Central, and South American neckbeards.
Yeah.
Loved Weapons of War Part 2. Great. I'm glad you liked it. If you were on the border and you had to lend out your car, you should know better. Yeah. He said he wasn't, I asked him where he lived. He didn't live right on the border. He didn't live in a border town. He drove for fucking 12 hours to come see us. So he lived somewhere near New Mexico City, I think. And he was just stole a car and drove it to, whatever. He was dope. Shout outs to that guy, wherever he may be. Hopefully not rotting in a Mexican prison somewhere for stealing a car.
I don't know. That seems like that'd be something that you'd deal with on your own.
Yeah, hopefully.
Sorry.
No worries. You ain't gotta apologize to me. That's what it's there for. Oh yeah, my glass. Yeah, dude.
It's the one that won't tip over, too.
Mm-hmm. I have to have a glass that heavy. Plus, I could defend myself with it. If somebody tries to sneak up, I could just grab it and punch somebody with that, and it would just,
Yeah, after the coffee incident from this morning, Cricket decided to join the party.
Yeah.
What, you don't like the coffee incident?
God damn my coffee incidents, dude. Yeah, Cricket fucking knocked over a cup today. It was a spill day, dude. Their skull would break before the glass does. I tend to agree, dude. Just became a $5 patron. Yay. Good choice, my friend. You have chosen correctly.
How much was Cricket's ticket?
I haven't worked it out yet. He's got to go to court, though.
Yeah. Maybe it will be the beef wet food.
Yep. He gets the can of beef wet food that he despises. Do you prefer mariachi or northern Mexican music? I like mariachi. I like norteño music. I like corridos of all flavors. So I'm not a super, like, don't know tons about Mexican music, but I do tend to enjoy a little taste of what I've heard. It's definitely way better at a party. I'll tell you that much. Like, I can really vibe with, like, mariachi or other types of northern Mexican music at a party. Mexican death metal. Yeah, okay. Salsa is a good time. Sure. I love the accordions. I love the horns. I'm with you there. I love the fucking pa 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 pa. I love that fucking, like, kind of like tuba or whatever it is. Do 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 do.
You know what game has music like that? Tiny and Big Grandpa's Leftovers. It's a weird game, but it's got a dope soundtrack.
I've never heard of that game. Tiny and Big Grandpa's Leftovers.
Yep. You're trying to get underwear. That's the goal. You're trying to get your underwear.
Cool.
But it's like a puzzle game, and it's got some dope music like that.
Love it. Hey, Paul, what do you think of modern traditional Viking music? Stop. Just stop. Did you play Doom Eternal last night? That game put hair on my balls, and I'm 44. Dude, that game is dope. I'm having a lot of fun with Doom Eternal. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That's the way you polish a game. The game is so fucking polished. I can't bitch when I die. When I die, it's because I fucked up. I got cornered. I stood still too long. I got complacent. I forgot to switch weapons and ran out of ammo. I blah, blah, blah. I this, I that. It's never like, oh, fucking this game is ridiculous. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. It's buggy. It doesn't feel the least bit unfair. It just feels punishing. The way it should. It's a game about one dude going against the armies of hell, dude. It should feel punishing. But it's just the right amount of punishing. I also, last night, spent about 2 hours, I think, messing around with Outriders. And I'm pleasantly surprised by the game. The story mode that I'm going through right now is pretty bad, but the combat in it is actually pretty novel and fun. I know a lot of people are pooping on that game right now, but I'll be honest with you, like, I pre-purchased it at some point. I didn't even know I had it until a couple of weeks ago.
How many delays you've like forgotten?
Yeah.
About, like 3 separate pre-orders you did.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that game a long time ago and I forgot about it. And then when it came back on the radar, I looked and I was like, oh, I already own it. Cool. All right, I'll try it out. So I tried it out, and yeah, the story sucks, but the gunplay and stuff is pretty fun, and the powers, and I like the third-person perspective. I didn't like the demo. I mean, you know, it is what it is. You got to get kind of far in the game. You got to kind of, I don't know how far the demo goes, but you've got to get a little bit into the game before it even unlocks a lot of the shit about the game. I don't know what the demo ended on. I never played all the way through the demo. When I first played the demo, it was like unplayable. So I was like, fuck this. But I tried the release game, and it's still got its issues. Like, I still have to, when it first loads in, I have to give it like 20 seconds. Just when I first load into the game, I have to give it like 20 seconds to like load everything in. And then once everything is in, it's fine. And like the loading times are fine on it. It's pretty smooth. I don't know, the character that is your main character is really like kind of cringy and unlikable. But the gunplay is fun. And there's lots of it.
I'm sorry, Otello. Most of the time I'm spaced out, so I don't have the biggest home field advantage that you think.
Yeah, dude. Amelia's not always paying perfect attention to the chat.
I just catch them sometimes.
Yep. Do you guys have a Patreon thing for playing games with you guys? No to the no to the no to the no. That's
Learn
just
that lesson.
Yep. Bad news bears. It's something that like, you know, like we might play games together because we released one of those just kind of trying it out for the patrons a while back, and everybody seemed to really enjoy it. It's me, Scotty, and Stevie all playing Vermintide 2. And we had a good time with it. Played for a couple hours and put that up. And then, yeah, so we might do something like that. But, like, no. Playing video games with... Like, I've done, like, some video games with Highdeology people when I'm gaming, like, that have been fine.
But not as an obligation ever again.
No. Mm-mm.
If you're just doing it with Highdeology for funsies, then you can just eject whenever you want.
Yeah. And we played... I played Dota with some Highdeology people, and I've played Heroes of the Storm with some Highdeology people, and that's worked out okay. I think HOTS is what I played with Brianna a couple of times. And she's too good at HOTS for me. She's too good. She's too high elo. I can't play on her level. So what is a Highdeology? Good question.
I'm going to get into that existential conversation.
Yeah. I don't know. What is it? Like, here's the thing. I make it, but you watch it.
Yeah. Why do you come here?
Right. You tell me what the fucking Highdeology is, because clearly I don't know.
That was the worst joke I've seen in a long time.
What?
Airline food.
Airline food?
That's a bannable joke.
That's terrible. It's pure imagination. A morning yawning. Yeah. Sometimes. What is the deal with Highdeology, huh? Is it just a guy sitting talking to his phone outside while the frogs chirp? Is that what it is? What am I missing? I come here strictly for confirmation bias and the lulls. Okay, that's fine. At least you know what you come for. Is it high or is it Highdeology? It's a little of both. What made you pursue YouTube as a career? Was it DP or was it something else? I mean, having an opportunity like that is what put YouTube's ability to be a career on the map for me. Like, I really kind of assumed that most of the people, especially the people that I dealt with, like had day jobs and shit, and we're just kind of making stuff on the side. And maybe not TJ, but TJ, by that time had attained maybe not 1 million yet, but he was close to it. He hit 1 million. Yeah, maybe he did before the DP days. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought, TJ's probably making money because he's on this tier, but like everybody else and like people doing a podcast and stuff, they're not making money. And then, DP offered me money. And I didn't ask for it. Like they contacted me. I think it was TJ that ended up calling me, and he was like, "Hey, we want you to come on every Friday." And I was like, "Cool, yeah, that's fine." I mean, like there might be some that I can't make or whatever, blah blah blah, work. And he was like, "No worries. Like, but we want to pay you some money." And I was like, "Huh? You want to pay me money to go on a podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right. What do you want to pay me?" He's like, "What do you think is fair?" I was like, well, considering it's something that I just thought I was doing free, I'm kind of like at a disadvantage in this fucking, negotiation at this fucking point. And he laughed, and then he said whatever the number was. It wasn't much. It wasn't like he lowballed me or anything, but he tossed me some. He said, "Here's some cash, and you can come on every Friday, and we'll pay you this every week." And I was like, cool. So I did that, and I figured like it's during that time that I figured out like, whoa, these dudes are making money doing this. Like, not at that time, it wasn't tons and tons of money, but it was like these dudes are making a lot of money. If they can just like take a guy like me and their audience likes him as a guest and just pay the dude to come on the show, they've got money. And then I started to see the advertising that they were doing and shit. And then really, right around in that time somewhere, my marriage went kaputsky. And I moved out, and I kind of went to TJ about it. And I wasn't asking for a job, but I asked him. I said, look, I've been a Friday show staple for you guys for a long time. What do you think about me, joining you guys on a semi-permanent basis, on a trial basis, or whatever the fuck, and working for you? And I'll do the shows, and you got other stuff you want to throw at me, I'll do that too. And he was like, let me get back to you. And that night, it was like an hour or two later, he called me back and made an offer that allowed me to make just enough money to get a 1-bedroom apartment. And that's all I wanted. I was like, cool. Because I just knew what a door that was open a crack looked like. And I knew when to pursue it, you know what I mean? And when to walk away. Did you find out about your fertility before you were ever on DP? Yes.
Yeah, I don't think you would have jumped into this if you had like a kid on the way or you were trying to get a kid on the way.
Hell to the fuck no. I mean, I don't know. If I had a child already, this probably never would have happened. It never would have gone beyond me getting paid a couple bucks. Because if they'd have come to me and been like, hey, we want you to do this full time and move out here. I have a kid. I'm married to a wife that has a career. I own a house. Like, I'm not going, but it just put it, like I'm telling you, like I was at a point in my life where I'd already just taken basically what I'd built in my life up until that point, and said, start over. Like, clean slate from zero. Fuck this. I have to do something different. And it could have gone either way. I'll tell you what, dude, I'm glad people fucking liked me on DP in the early days. I'm glad that the Paul hate train didn't start until after I was already a fixture on that motherfucker. Woo! Paul, I remember that video you put out of you describing this nightmare that constantly got closer to your bed over and over for a period of like a week. Do you remember it? It stuck with me forever. Yeah, of course. I remember it. It's a recurring nightmare I had when I was a kid. I'm not going to tell the whole fucking story now because it's a long, involved thing, and I've told it a billion times. But yes, especially when I was younger, I was prone to recurring nightmares. And I had one about, fuck it, I'll just tell you guys. I used to go to sleep all the time with my radio on. It was always hard for me to sleep without some kind of noise. And even to this day, I go to sleep listening to podcasts or listening to Let's Plays or listening to books. Interrogations and depositions and shit, you know. Like, I gotta have something going. And when I was a kid, it was a radio in my room. And so this dream, it had to be kind of like a hypnagogic dream because the radio intruded into the space of the dream. So I dreamed that I was floating above myself and looking down at my room from the top. And I could see myself laying there, and I could see my radio, and I could see my closet at the foot of the bed. But from a bird's eye view that should not have been able to exist because I would have been like in the ceiling or above it, you know. And the radio would be playing some song. And I was a young kid when I had this dream, probably like 7 or 8. And so whatever was on the radio, you know, we could look at those, like what was like in 1987, what were the top, you know, the Billboard top 10? That's probably what I was listening to. And the songs would play, and I could hear them in the dream. And then, you know, the DJ would come on. Hey, this is 95.7 The Fox. Thanks for being with us. Stay with us for another unbroken chain of commercial-free music right after this here on The Fox. And then, like, a commercial would start playing. Do you have the downers? Blah, blah, blah. You know how it is, like radio commercials, right? When that would happen, I started to notice out of the corner of my eye that the something was going on in my closet. Like the closet door. I used to have those double closet doors that would like slide, you know what I mean? Like sliding doors, and you could open them either way. So the closet door would go like, and I'd be like fixated on that in my dream. Kind of seeing it almost from both perspectives, from the perspective of the bed and from above it. It's hard to explain. And then the music would come back on. You know, help me, Rhonda, help. And the door would close. And I'd be like, you know, that would become the fixation of my dream. And every time a commercial would come on, whatever was in that closet got bolder and bolder and bolder and bolder and bolder. So that's how it unfolded. The dream felt like it went on for fucking ever. And a commercial would come on, and it would be like, you know, if you've got brake problems, you've got car problems. Bring your brakes to Meineke, blah, 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 you know? And this fucking thing started coming out of the closet. I don't know how better to put it. Hands gangly. Like, it really was, I think, based on Meg Mucklebones from Legend, which I saw that movie at a very young age. And I remember it looking kind of like that, like just this slimy, gross, grotesque, hunchbacked thing started to come out of the closet and kind of walk over towards me laying there in bed. And then a song would come back on. You know, dun, 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 and the thing would go like, and go back in the closet and close the door. And that would go on and on and on and on all night. And there were times where it would like look up at me. And there were times where I could see it coming over, but felt like I was paralyzed. So there were different like perspectives within the dream, and the dream played out in different ways sometimes. But whatever it was like it came out during the commercials. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was my little young brain warning me that it was being programmed by evil corporations at an early age or something. I don't know. Yeah. But I had that recurring nightmare when I was a kid.
You said like around 1987. You're probably listening to it, right?
Yeah.
Can you guess what the number one song of 1987 was?
87. I don't know. What was
Walk
it?
Like an Egyptian.
Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. It was probably in there.
That surprised me, but I guess it makes sense.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Is that considered unwoke now?
It is kind of Egypt face if you go look at it, because I'm pretty sure that what's her name is not Egyptian. Who sings that? Oh, that's it was a band.
The Bangles.
The Bangles. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the
Bangles. Like a one-hit wonder.
No, I think the Bangles had a couple of hits.
Yeah.
That song is super problematic. Is it? I don't know.
They did Manic Monday.
Just another manic Monday. Oh, whoa. I wish it were Sunday. Oh, whoa. Yep. I used to think that Manic Monday was sung by either Cyndi Lauper or Madonna as a kid. I remember not knowing that the Bangles were a separate band. Man, that music sucked.
You weren't there.
Man, you had to be there, bro. No, I don't know. Dude, the 80s has a lot of charm in it to me. And I can see how people, like TJ fucking hates old 80s music. Or used to. Till he started writing this novel he's working on. And now he loves 80s music all of a sudden. TJ doesn't know what he loves. Problematic in 2000 BC. Yeah, dude. Walk like an Egyptian. It's got a beat, dude. Say what you want about it. It kind of knocks. I still get super hyped over Van Halen. Miss me with the Van Halen. I liked like popular music from the 80s. So Sting and the Police, Flock of Seagulls, Mr. Madonna, Cyndi Lauper. I mean, that you're talking. That's my stuff. Those are my jams. Devo, yes. In Excess. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, no, no, no. 80s Morrissey, yes. Styx, kinda. Slick Rick, yes, thank you. Genesis, yes. And Phil Collins alone without Genesis. Rush, yes. I mean, let's just not name every 80s band. You guys get it. I was into popular, poppy 80s music, yes. And still am. LL Cool J, yes. Yes, him too. I'm gonna knock you out.
Have you ever seen him act in the NCIS Los Angeles.
Cool J?
Yeah.
No.
It's interesting.
Is it?
He tries to pull off the same shit that Ice-T does, but doesn't quite get there.
He was so good as the chef in
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea, remember?
Yeah. I mean, it might be worth checking out at some point, but I don't know if we'll ever have cable to watch NCIS with.
Fuck NCIS.
I've
Paul.
probably... Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, so I've probably seen all of the original, at least. My mom loved it.
Yeah. I haven't seen NCIS, but I've seen all of SVU.
Yeah.
Which is where I think they started with Ice-T's character.
Yeah.
And I loved Ice-T's character because he was always just like, well, not always. Sometimes you got these episodes that were more focused on him, but most of the time Ice-T was just there and you knew he was cashing a fat check. And his whole work for the episode would be being like, yo, I got this warrant. Or shut up while she's talking. Or like kicking a door in or some shit, you know. He probably filled like 10 episodes worth of shooting time in one day and then just cashed a fat check and went away. I love Ice-T, dude. I'll forever love Ice-T. Dude, I liked his presence on the show. I actually liked that show. Unironically, I probably wouldn't go back and watch it again. I didn't like it that much, but it was good, like, turn your brain off cop drama. It wasn't, like, totally unwatchable, you know.
It's still not over yet. I think it's still going.
What?
The wheels are still turning on that SVU.
Oh, yeah? Is it still going? With the same folks and everything?
I think so. Like, did you stick around long enough for her to have a kid?
No. See, I bailed on SVU after like 8 seasons or some shit. So I guess I haven't seen all of SVU.
Yeah, they got new episodes, season 22, episode
You've
10
got to be
tonight.
kidding me. SVU is still out there?
Yeah, season 22.
Paul the Doll, me wanty more subs. On sites search Matthew Krecklau or Kirby. We only at 109 tiers. Matthew Krecklau. I'm going to be honest with you, Matthew. I checked out your channel. You succeeded in getting me to look at your channel. Now, I didn't subscribe, but don't take any fucking offense from that. I subscribe to hardly anybody. But I watched what you're putting out there, Matthew Krecklau. I watch what you're putting out there. And you've got to find a way to spotlight your talent. You've got to find a better way to spotlight the talent, Matthew Krecklau. You need to get the basic ability to get a backing track that you can sing over and a better mic than your phone mic to sing into. I know that might be financially out of your reach. You have more talent than your videos imply that you do, because people can't hear the richness and tone of your voice with a full backing track and with a decent mic. So everybody go check out Matthew Krecklau and see if you agree with what I'm saying. Then you need to do it, Matthew. If it's not out of your reach, then you need to do it. Because you're never going to get above 109 people singing into your phone. I'm not saying you got to invest, right? I'm not saying you got to go all big, high production. Get a decent vocal mic. Get a little laptop or something that can run some beats that are some free beats or something, and start doing your own thing. You can still do covers, do karaoke covers and stuff, but people need to hear that shit. Exactly, Matthew. Exactly. Save up what you got to save up and get it running. You got to get an audio interface of some kind is probably down the road, but I'm telling you, just an upgrade to like a better, like a USB Yeti or something would be a step up from what most of your recent videos that I took a gander at were. So I'm just saying, like, if like a little, you have to put a little bit in to get a little bit out. And that's all there is to it. Like, just like a little, like, Yeti USB mic would probably massively be within your striking range or whatever the fuck. And you'd obviously want to look down the road to monetizing what you do and put more money into that. But that's my honest feeling about your channel. I think you're a talented person, and I think that if you want people to actually notice the talent, you're gonna have to showcase it better. And that's that. I don't think it's gonna happen, honey.
I was getting engrossed in the SVU stuff still.
Well, that's good.
Apparently, a character that disappeared in season 12 came back in season 22. So that's how convoluted it is now.
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't know, maybe it's worth revisiting.
I doubt it.
Probably isn't.
We're not gonna sit through fucking, if you only went to like season 4, we're not sitting through 18 fucking seasons of it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing phone-based travel vlogs since I don't have a mobile PC right now. Is there a market for that sort of thing? Or is phone-based video too shitty to break to YouTube? You just need a decent phone, which can be expensive as fuck. Like, you need to get an iPhone 10 or above. But you can do pretty decent phone vlogs.
But you're not in that sphere of YouTube, so
yeah, I
experience with it.
I can't help you much, but I can tell you that like there are like vlogging cameras that are made specifically for that kind of thing that you do, where you can actually plug lav mics into them. So look at getting into a GoPro that you can simultaneously record via lav mic your performance. You might even be able to do multiple inputs on one on your guitar and then one on you for the voc. You'd have to tweak it out, like you'd have to figure out exactly what works for you, but that would not be super duper fucking expensive to get up and running. Advice to quit alcohol. Reach out to some local fucking agencies. Don't turn your nose up at Alcoholics Anonymous just because it has a religious tenet to it. A lot of the fundamental methods used in AA work. You know, the method of being accountable to a sponsor, having somebody that you can call when you crave, having a person that you feel like you're in it with, you're looking out for one another, you sponsor other people. All of that is very good. All of that stuff was laid down in a pre-religious foundation called the Washingtonians way back in the fucking day. And they were teetotalers, and they didn't put a religious tinge to it, but they did start the camaraderie, going to meetings when you feel like you've been like fucking up.
I mean like the stuff right before Prohibition.
Yeah. The Washingtonians. I believe that was the name of the fucking society. And they were a society of only men at this time, but to be honest with you, at that time in American history, alcoholism was a predominantly male disease. And they met and kept each other accountable and took a pledge to not drink and supported one another and had meetings where they would talk about their drink and talk about what they used to do and confess all the horrible things they did as they were alcoholics. And that began That was a lot of those practices were adopted by Alcoholics Anonymous. A higher power was appended onto it, and you'll find that depending on the area of the country that you're in, there's a heavy Christian bent, which is kind of shitty. But the methodology still works. The psychology of going to group meetings and saying, my name is so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic. I've been clean for 2 months now. You have accountability standing. You have no reason to lie to a group of people who have been lower than you, probably, at least as low as you've gone. And you all have the same problem. So that's what I would recommend that you do, is you find some local resources, maybe not AA. There are other programs, group meetings for alcoholics, group meetings for drug addicts, and you try and attend something and get help with what you have.
I mean, there's definitely a certain level that some people are at. I don't know anything about this dude, but where rehab is the only option.
Yeah. Just stay away from Narconon.
Is that the one that's horrible?
That's Scientology's secret, owned by Scientology, but not marketed as a Scientology property. Narconon, no bueno. Don't go anywhere near it. Total fucking bullshit, woo-woo, and poison. Never knew that? Well, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. I know a lot about Scientology.
Yeah, that episode, you promised an active cult.
That's true. I think I just want to do a discussion episode, like have my resources in front of me, pull some interesting older videos of early Scientology confrontations. I don't know how, maybe even try and reach out to Mark Bunker, who is now a councilman in Clearwater, Florida. Yeah. And see if he would come on the show. That would be fun. It would be really, really cool to be able to talk to him. He knows more about Scientology than I will ever know. I learned a lot about what I know about Scientology through his early videos. In fact, it was Mark Bunker's very, very early videos that he did with the Lisa McPherson Trust that I got into Scientology as a religion and as a cult, like observing it and learning about it. I watched a video of his called, it was titled, and you can still find it on YouTube. I think it's called the Scientology Picket, the Revenge Picket. That's what it's called. So Mark Bunker had been going by the name Dr. Benjamin Wog. And Wog is something that, without getting into too much of it, Wog is something that Hubbard used to call people that weren't into Scientology, that had not been exposed to it yet. So he called himself Dr. Benjamin Wog as a nod to Scientologists, saying, I know things about your cult that other people don't know. And he started covering it in vlogs. And he lived in LA at the time, where there was a huge, if you've ever been to LA, the Celebrity Center is there. The Big Blue Building is in LA. There are tons and tons and tons of Scientology orgs in LA. So he was in kind of a hot spot for Scientology at a time when Scientology was way more underground. Not a lot of people knew about it. They just thought it was like another branch of Christianity. That's how they sell itself. Like if you look at Scientology recruitment videos, by the way, they're tailor-made for you. So if you go to a Scientology org, they'll ask you what your religion is as part of a personality quiz. And then they show you some materials that are based on, like, your religion is compatible. Scientology is a technology.
They probably even have an atheist one.
Maybe. Probably. You're probably right. But I know for a fact that they love getting religious-minded people who are already religious-minded to come in thinking that, like, oh, it's Christian, it's fine. Oh, it's compatible with Islam. That's cool. So anyway,
he'd probably do it. I'm looking at his channel, and he does these multi-panel discussions where he's in a Google Hangout or whatever with 6 other people.
Yep.
So
no, he's Mark Bunker's anyway, they found out about him. They sent a couple of Scientology goons. They found out who he was, found out where he lived, sent a couple of Scientology goons to take leaflets around his neighborhood that said, Mark Bunker, your neighbor is a religious bigot. And they started like passing them out to people as they drove by in Mark Bunker's neighborhood. And he went out and filmed them. And the video of him talking to them or trying to talk to them was the thing that sparked my interest in Scientology, because the people in that video act completely like alien beings. They don't even act like human beings. And I didn't know at the time what I was watching, but I was watching L. Ron Hubbard Tech and its effect on the mind. And it was that video alone. And then the rest of his videos are just fucking, from that time, they're absolutely fucking riveting to me. There's a video called The Mad Picket that you should watch, where Mark Bunker, a bunch of people from the Lisa McPherson Trust, there was like 5 people, 6 people. They decided to do a little picket outside of Scientology's spiritual headquarters in Clearwater, Florida, the Fort Harrison Hotel. And they're out there with 6 people with things like Scientology splits up families and blah, blah, blah. And at first, there's a couple of Scientologists milling around. And then all of a sudden, because on that night, unbeknownst to the people that were protesting, there was some big Scientology meeting somewhere, like 250, 300 Scientologists descend out of nowhere and surround these 6 people with these things and start screaming at them. And there's video of all this from a couple of different angles. It's one of the, dude, you got to watch it. It's crazy. And this is what the cult did when it started to get noticed. This was way before like the Anonymous days, when Anonymous was like blowing up Scientology. Not blowing it up, but you know what I mean? Like making it a bigger, more well-known thing. This was in the days before the fucking episode of South Park that talked about the religious beginnings of Scientology and the weird Xenu story. What are your crimes? Yeah. What are your crimes, Mark? What are your crimes, Mark? What are your crimes? Why do you hate Hubbard? Why do you hate Hubbard's tech? What are your crimes, Mark? What are your crimes, Mark? Look up Mark Bunker on YouTube and look at his older videos. You have to look, like, I'm trying to give you names of videos because like his newer videos are a lot of him vlogging. He's now, like I said, I think a council person in Clearwater, Florida, which is the spiritual headquarters of the Church of Scientology. It's really disturbing, but really interesting. I wanted to know immediately, like, how did these people get sucked into something like this? Like, I really wanted to know, how did that happen? How did these people get sucked into this? And I found out, and it's even more disturbing than you'd think. Scientology is basically a form of brainwashing. That, coupled with blackmail and social pressuring, keeps people that are otherwise functional, normal, rational adults locked into a system of economic exploitation. Wait, this sounds like psychiatry. Shocking. Well, everyone gets sucked into something. Everyone's brainwashed. Okay. Thanks, Paul. I was on the cusp of getting in groups knowing we're first social creatures and second logical or rational. Thanks. I'll do it. Just remember, stay clear of Narcanon. Do not involve any program that has the Narcanon seal on it. Don't go to a program that's adjacent to Narcanon. Make sure that you ask and make doubly sure that the program does not include any Narcanon adjacency. AA will have nothing to do with Narcanon. I know that for sure. You want some skooma? This one knows where to get moon sugar. AA does that strange surrender yourself to a higher power, be a crazy Christian thing, right? Yes, it does. We talked about that. This one smells moon sugar. What is Highdeology, Paul? I asked the audience that question. I feel it's incumbent upon you to answer it. I don't know what a Highdeology is. The breath between the stars, bro. The place between the stars and the space between the stars. Does the very wind rent? It's time, homie. Dirty D. Better not be eating nothing out there. You want to go poop. Go potty. Go. This is weed. Some people, man. Egg roll. Egg roll. My name is Egg Roll. Looks like a cigarette. It's a cigarette, but it's just a little bit sus. That looks like a cigarette. Burns nice too, yeah. Cotton candy, sweet as gold. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. I've maintained that a Highdeology is a guided discussion with Paul at the center, cultivating an audience of people leaning to avoid trite ideas, learning to avoid trite ideas. Aha, aha, yes. And farts. That's a time. That's a time. And I got my eyeball peeled on you, Code. You're starting to get way too trolly, so it's gonna be a timeout. And when you come back, I just don't want to see it. Yeah, farts, exactly. You can't forget the farts. And now we shall discuss the holy flatulence. No, I don't want to do farts again tonight. I'm all farted out. I'm all diddled out, man. And the stream has piddled out.